All colleagues, roll call. You don't want me in there? When is this meeting? Yeah, I'll be there. We're done today. What? Okay, can you send that information to Son? Yeah. Okay. Go on it. Here's a tamale next time when tamale lady comes. Roll call, colleagues. Honorable Daniels, Honorable Eugene So, Honorable Paul Begay, Madam Chair Crotty, Honorable Slater is excused. Honorable Paul Begay is excused. Those two are excused.
The other one?
Yeah, Paul Begay and Honorable Slater are excused. Honorable Brown, Honorable Halona, Honorable Chairman Hinu, Honorable Charlotte So, Chairman So, Honorable Yazzie, Honorable Yellowhair, Honorable Wanika, Honorable Walker. Roll call. Honorable Eugene So, Honorable Walker, Madam Chair Crotty, Honorable Charlene So, Chairman Hino, Honorable Yellowhair, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Lock it down.
You have 17.
17 are here. We are back in recess. The time now is 10:05 a.m.
Good.
With that, colleagues, day 3. 1701. We do have, this is the 24th Nomination Council Winter Session. Today's date is January 29th, 2020. The time now is 10:05 a.m. We are here at the Nomination Council Chambers in Winter Rock, Arizona on the nomination, presided by myself, Seth Amon, nomination speaker. We have called the meeting to order. We did roll call. We are moving on down to invocation. Honorable Stewart, mind doing the invocation for us?
Well, good morning, Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, guests in the gallery. Not supposed to get Yahoo Kaigi, don't get Honohonagi, the Benidi. Oh, Yat Ehoshin, Hinanada, the Lintel, the Beneco, Kashin, so the Ars is in the whatever genre of it. Nanstan Shamado Yatkashka, Jopna A, Jopna A.A. Kona, in the corner, so as a one, che, so down cleaning corner, in the corner, was the kids after kids on leaning corner. And at the end of the night, I'm leaning corner, in the day in the old age, and both leaning corner, in the corner, in him, Blessed Virgin Mary, in the corner, I thought you know, Jesus Christ in leaning corner. In the guardian angels, I'm leaning the honor when he did some other sin, let the benibia. Yat a corner, he's one no, that he gets so angel that corner. Though yat a one, he tried yada hot eight of that corner. That on he tried to have either corner, when the benibia, yat a corner. For the glamour, the answer just the ear of one, he can't hot eight of that, so he didn't eat of that corner. Though yat a corner, none I could, he gained leaning. الخيجات أن يقليني كون دا عندنا هي مادة هي جاء كون يا تهو بالكنا بدي نيدو له إنسان هدي نيدو له كون تو يا تهو كون the branch government بيجي دو كون ده تشكي كون executive legislative judicial كون يا تهو كون بس نادي legislative دو ده كان نادي جات بالك كون إن ده كون هي وين هز أنا جه يا تهو كون هي توست كان نيجي يان سكانو ده يا تهو كون هي better نازل دو له إنسان هدي نيدو له كون in the then he chitted and leaning corner page on a kai page on a dotted and leaning corner so yeah the whole corner team the car he saw was a corner safety leaning it from the lower the thing it so into the corner he dotted the car in he that the car and then he got the jiggy the corner so yeah the whole corner he gonna follow it so he didn't this morning corner in the corner so his twin he's on it at a corner from the blessed not that corner those are nursing homes corner those are in the hospital corner but he and the hot etolet on a corner he did in the corner in the corner so corner at least chinese and leaning corner no settled and leaning corner so cage a kid and leaning corner or cut that corner that the whole corner banana is not as the etolet corner the whole old cut and leaning corner yet not yet not all cut all that corner in the bottom of the leaning corner, administrators and leaning the corner, yet the whole teenage, yet the kid all that, so yet the whole corner, and legend kindle that 1, 2, 3, ABC, that A corner, that the whole corner, have less than not that block, so he didn't that corner, he's allowed and leaning corner, emergency personnel, that A corner, so Ben Ashley all that this morning corner, so EMTs and leaning fire department and leaning corner, so in the corner, so corner. Security guards and leaning corner also corner. Ben Ashley all that so he did this morning corner in the corner. The nurses and doctors at A, so I have to have corner Ben Ashley all that corner that help us when we're ill. Feeling good corner without A having the engines and all this in the corner in that corner. I thought corner it should be a send nagi out of us at the end the corner though. Quite corner should the linigi Ben Ashley corner. Ben Ashley all that so he didn't all that corner. Then he knocked lost it at A corner, clean at A, the bed at A, visit at A corner. And he Kelly that corner in that corner so. I have less than all that lot of them, so he did this morning corner. And the corner he died and later, he played chant and leaning corner, and have less than all that lot of your pets corner, but and just another similar this morning corner. And then he been Hagad and leaning corner, Canadian, that's the get that A corner. And then that corner he at that A corner, have less than all that lot of corner. And then he pastors and he preaches and leaning corner, he get that corner. There's scriptures corner. Without a young gentleman, have less not that father. He thought it on leaning corner, in Hatad and leaning corner. So, asked for Ben Ashley this morning corner, in the corner, the judge, you instead in the corner, and so it's another sin of that corner. This morning, say things in your Holy Son's name, Jesus Christ. Which is clean, which is clean, which is clean, which is clean, Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Thank you very much, Honorable Stewart, for that wonderful invocation this morning. That. Let's move on down on our agenda. We do have some recognitions this morning, so let me go on to Chairman Nez. Want to come up here? I'm going to bring whoever all.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker Damon, honorable members of the 24th Navajo Nation Council. Yate Benjamin Tai. Arosna, Shik Asian Santos. Rick Nez in Shia, or Shannon Snow, Zeta Chini, Bashish Chin Sana, Bikin the Shado Kia Ani, Dashanala Hotide, and then Shanagay one chapter. Or Liedo Ish, Astago chapters they represent San Juan, Hogback, Upper Fruitland, Nahanza, Burnham, Dolnukum. This morning, I would like to just say a few words on behalf of our youngster here, the world champion, Tyson Williams. Tyson Williams goes to school at Ojo Elementary School at Upper Fruitland, New Mexico. This youngster here was over at Las Vegas, Nevada, during the National Finals Rodeo, competed against other youths, and our own Navajo little cowboy came up on top here. Very proud of him, and the school is very proud of him, his teachers, his principal, Dr. Pandora Mike, and most especially his family, the Williams family. Glad you could make it out here. Yeah. Here's a certificate in recognition which will be presented by the 24th Navajo Nation Council to Tyson Williams in recognition of achieving the title of World Champion Roper at the National Finals Rodeo. The Navajo Nation is proud of his accomplishments as a Navajo youth and for representing the great Navajo Nation well in competition. Wow. So here it is, signed by Honorable Speaker Seth Damon and myself, Chair of Resource and Development Committee.
Yate, good morning. Shay, the James Strong, Aro, Stein, Pigeon, Marino, Aro, Bin Hiyash, Tyson Williams, Aro, Dol Kaidoe, Dan Hilgan, Ayusina Shadoe, White Kong, no Nasha, Aro, Skan Zon, Strong, Kabahago Sistine, Aro, Zay Trachi, the Shichido, Puts of May, the Shinada, called Died and Nenshin, Aro Sarchene, Kia Ani Dunle. Ko Yat Etidisnil, Etinohias Adohini, Dotro, Nahanda, Yat Etidisnil, or not Smakon. Dasha Chia Badano Lanivido, so Yashi was Kuzodo, Yahunzendolish, Adonas, Hato, Yanavado, Hasinso, Rodeo, Lido, school sports, Yanava, even Nachu here in Houston. So thank you for inviting us and doing this appreciation recognition for my son. Yeah, thank you.
I'd just like to say thank you. It's a real honor to see my son grow into this roper, and he does a lot. He spends his days after school roping, and it's a lot of joy in my heart that I feel for my son, and knowing that he's supported by outsiders as well is really good. It's a really good feeling to have. So again, thank you, and he's gonna grow up to be a world champion, and there's many more saddles and buckles in it for him. So thank you for all your support.
I'm Tyson Williams.
Mr. Williams, you really have a whole lot on your hands now. You're not only going to have to invest in a dually pickup truck, long horse trailer, and lots of hay as well. So good luck. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Yes. But
this is the buckle that he also won, as well as his saddle right here. So just thought, on the shame.
congratulations, buddy, Mr. Williams. Moving on down. Thank you, Chairman, for that wonderful presentation. We do have next up, Madam Chair Crowdy.
I just wanted to take this time and opportunity, colleagues, to have a moment to share the life and memory of former Delegate Thomas Raymond Notah Sr. I want to ask Delegate Wanika if he can join us in the family, as Mr. Notah represented the community of St. Michael's. The family, in their grief and now in their healing, wanted to return back to the council where their father, their grandpa, their great-grandfather took time and energy to be away from his family, and we all know that the time and effort it takes away from our family, and then to be here to be the voice of the people. And so, colleagues, if we may have this time to be part of their healing as they move forward, and give them an opportunity to share his life, his memory, and be part of their healing process. So, Speaker, I'll defer to the family to tell their father's story, and as a place where he brought prayer and knowledge that this is now one of the ways that we could help with the healing process. Shade.
Yate, good morning. Honorable members of the Navajo Nation Council, Speaker David, staff of the Navajo Nation, and members of the public in the audience. It is with great humility that we bring our family, the Notah family, Representative Thomas Raymond Notah, from St. Michael's, Arizona, before you to thank you and to celebrate his life. She'e Jenny Notah Yinishe, Kachitni, Twitchitni Nishlin, Kachitni Bashishchi. I'm the eldest daughter of our family. And I'd like to just introduce my siblings. And we've got Emerson Notah, he's our youngest brother. Sharon Notah is our youngest sister. Gloria Notah Tom is our sister. And Ferdinand Notah is the eldest son. And that's our family. And Edison Notah is not here with us today. And then my sister Mildred Yazi over on the side. And these are our grandchildren and our nieces and nephews. And Mr. and Mrs. Nelson from Fort Defiance serve as our great support system, as well as many relatives who are not able to make it today. So I wanted to thank you. My father, Thomas Raymond Notah Sr., was a former Navajo Nation delegate who passed on July 5th, 2019 in Albuquerque. And he was 88 years old, so he lived a long, long life, and we're very thankful to have him for the time that we did have him. I want to thank Delegate Crotty. Okay, thank you. And Delegate Edison Winika, who represents our communities in St. Michael's at this time. So I really want to thank them for their taking time out of their busy schedules and requests from many, many people and organizations. They took the time to make this possible. My father was on the Navajo Nation Council from 1995 to 1999, and he represented St. Michael's. He was a veteran of the Marine Corps, and he served during the Korean War. And we do have this portrait that was made of him. So, you know, he comes from a family of great military service to our country. And for that, we'll always be indebted to our relatives and to all veterans because they have protected our country. And they continue to do so. And for everybody watching on internet and web stream, you know, we send out our greatest appreciation for their service. My father also worked with the U.S. government, and he worked with the Department of Interior in the Bureau of Indian Affairs. And he worked in the Forest Management Department, and he also served some work with the Navajo Nation in the Water Resources Department after he left the BIA. He was on the board of directors for the St. Michael's Indian School. And so our homestead is just east of St. Michael's Indian School. And our father's family was very instrumental in helping bring that Catholic school to the people and helping further education of our young people. And it still remains there today. Thomas Notah was also a great leader and a very strong man of faith. He raised us in the Catholic faith. He raised us with Native American church teachings. He raised us with traditional healing from the Navajo culture. And so that really is the cornerstone and the foundation of our family. And with his teachings and our mother's teachings, Alice Notah, who was from Blue Canyon, together they raised our family. And we miss them dearly, but we have are opportunities to carry out their legacy at this time, starting from our eldest to the youngest, who was just born 3 weeks ago. Where is the baby? So, you know how they speak about the cycle of life. And so, you know, the elders do their service and perform their role in society, and then they go on, leaving us with much knowledge, much faith, much gratitude for every day, for everything that is before us, that the Creator has given us. My grandparents were Tay Notah and Mildred Notah. Mildred Upshaw Notah from St. Michael's area. And then our maternal grandparents, John E. Watchman from Blue Canyon, and Onabat Watchman. And our, I don't want to take too much of your time talking. I could talk probably for a few hours. But, you know, like all of you, you know, we're very thankful, from the bottom of our heart, thank you. And we will continue to carry out Dad and Mom's legacy. Mr. Otto So was talking about leadership in the families. And he was talking about, you know, coming from a line of Navajo Nation leadership. And he said, who's going to follow? And I said, all of them. They're all leaders. We all are leaders. You know, tapping the talents, tapping the energy within people. It doesn't have to be at Navajo Nation Council. It can be in kindergarten, Head Start. It can be like my little grandson. We went to Safeway last night, and he was packing the, unloading the cart, loading it back up in the bags, and then pushing the cart. This little one up here in the front. So anyway, leadership is really key to sustaining the family, and prayer, which we do every day, morning, night, constantly, even when we're on the road. And so with that, I just wanted to convey our thank you. One more group that I wanted to also thank is the people of St. Michael's, you know, for honoring him and voting him into office, believing in him, believing in Thomas Notah to be on the Navajo Nation Council. And I know he made many friends, and he had traveling partners when they went off to meetings. George Arthur, Elmer Milford, people on the Resources and Development Committee. So, you know, of course, there's stories to tell. And the stories we heard over the dinner table, you know, but Dad was very passionate about Navajo Nation, making the way for future generations, to preserve our land, to preserve our resources, our natural resources. And so, you know, we will continue that journey as well. We often, as I mentioned, my brothers and sisters work for Navajo Nation. And so many times at the dinner table, there would be these debates over the dinner table about issues. You know, what should the Navajo Nation do? What should be the position? And so from that, you know, I think the little ones, they've heard those conversations. So they hopefully will bring to the table planning, analysis, nahata, you know, planning for the future. So thank you again for your attention and for this honor today.
Hagoshihiela, Speaker Damon, all members of the Navajo Nation Council. Do are Bani Sokai, Thomas Raymond Notah. So here, I really like to truly thank Delegate Crowdy, knowing the family. So I guess you planned this. It wasn't until yesterday afternoon I found out that this recognition was going to take place. Not as far as the person, there was no surprise. As far as the leadership, there's no question it's there. Ako, don't like know what that. Actually, in all 110 communities, there's leadership prior to us that made it possible for us to be here. Not only us, Manlata, Naz Tani Huta, Hanashi Deka, Heishi, not Anitan, Lori Nacha, that Ekat. The Quabanas bonds is the case of Nakata Huishi, so that has Joe, I go Nede. Hashid, Nakata Hatos Little. In Nacha, Naka is Nili Bansi, cases of the Bansi, Zonshi, so they are down in Nevada. Even as the recognition, even as the beneath me, so a combination of your body wins. A co Annie Kodo, Obansa case about Thomas Talado, to Isabel Hassan and then Abelkit houses, to Abelkis son. I could aim there, but Chin Lenit I see Hanover business. So the Yat a Nanshila, a connection that as Mr. Notah, Ferdinand Notah. I say BIA used to have a housing program. It was through his leadership that we brought across to the Navajo Nation and established it for the Navajo Nation. Now, Sato the Nishilia. I don't the Yeg or Edo Chong either. Other Edo Nitago. He's a person that's very reliable. There's no question he follows through the family. So leadership be not only leadership in the nation, but leadership in the home. I think that's very important. I think our most initial responsibility should be the leadership in the home. Even as a colony, I could all hear and hit this.
Good morning. Yate Bene. Sinata, Speaker.
Morning.
Delegates, nice to be with you this morning. Say a few words on behalf of the family, my father, Thomas Notah, Sr. He was a farmer and rancher, full-time. His delegate job is a part-time job. Okay. But he was a very strong advocate of education, his history in forestry, land management, agriculture, water, soils, plants, all that. He passed on to us. Basically, one of his teachings was that he told us as kids, there's nothing here for us to give you on Navajo Nation. Go off and get an education. Build a career out there, build a profession, then come back and help your people. So that was our mission. You know, we got chased off the reservation to go to school. Okay. But he was a well-respected roadman with Navajo Native American Church. Helped a lot of people, said prayers for them. And but some of his teachings was strong in education. You know, it paid off. Because right now within our family group here, there's about close to 10 university degrees. So, and we got people that were specializing, my background, agriculture, my sister, fish and wildlife. But basically, we all got into natural resources in some way or another. My sisters, they got into health professions. So basically, it was those kind of teachings from him. And also, as you go down the road, you know, every day we see his accomplishments. For example, the 4-lane that goes up to the summit. He worked with the Arizona Department of Transportation, ADOT, to get that project completed. He worked on the street lighting along 264 for public safety, because there was hitchhikers and everybody walking along the road. You know, we used to tell him, you know, we need to have a safer community. He helped on getting the Days Inn and Denny's into the area, and helped with the financing. He helped with the purchase of the Kerrigan Estates from the Franciscan Fathers. And he even sat down with the county with us to negotiate where the county waived the taxes on the Kerrigan Estate property taxes. And he was very instrumental in making that argument with the county to waive the taxes on those fee lands that were part of Kerrigan Estates. Okay. And another thing is the flea market. You know, before it was an old, muddy flea market. And he was very instrumental in working with us to get that redeveloped into what you see now, the pavement, the vendor villages to where they serve food in those little cafes there at the flea market and so forth. You know, so we see his efforts every day. And he was very instrumental in recognizing our state championship basketball team from St. Michael's Indian School. And he even brought the team before the council and presented them jackets and everything else like that for their accomplishments. So, and he was a basketball player too, football player out of St. Michael's Indian School. Okay, that's where he graduated. So anyway, we just want to show our appreciation. And again, my father was very supportive of the veterans groups, not only in District 18, but reservation-wide. He even advocated for veterans funding through the council. So anyway, with that, we do have family members here. On my side, these Nollies, you know, I got my daughters and some of my Nollies here too. So, but we all want to give you thank you and show our appreciation. There's a few refreshments out in the back, some fruits and so forth. So as you partake of it, you know, have good thoughts and think about your own future, you know, your accomplishments that you want to achieve in your term. So with that, I will conclude my statement, because you know I can talk and talk and talk and talk. Okay, so I'll conclude my comments at this point. So I appreciate it, and we thank you very much wholeheartedly from the family. Yeah. Thank you.
And so, colleagues and our relatives, we've heard the stories from the families regarding Honorable Thomas Raymond Notah's accomplishments. And I think this is a great time for us to reflect on how we want to move our community forward, how we want to move our great nation forward, so that every day that will be our goal and determination of how much your father accomplished. And the fruit of his labor is always the children and baby Thomas, who was born a few weeks ago. So on behalf of the council colleagues, I want to give the family a certificate of recognition to the family of Honorable Thomas Raymond Notah Sr. for the commemoration of his lifetime of honorable service to the communities of St. Michael's and the Navajo Nation as a U.S. Marine veteran of the Korean War, a council delegate, and a member of the Native American Church. So we'll present this to you and your family with our deepest our gratitude. And I feel that I stand here as a better leader today, knowing all of you and knowing the accomplishment of your dad, your grandpa, and your great-grandpa. So, yeah, thank you. So, thank you, Speaker, and thank you for the time, colleagues.
Thank you very much, all the Notah family, for being here today. Yeah. Hey, that. Thank you, my Chair Cardi, Honorable Bonico, for that wonderful presentation. Moving on down, one more presentation. Honorable Stewart, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Speaker. Colleagues of the 24th Navajo Nation Council, guests in the gallery. Nana Yate, Ibinibi, Pioneer Shidodge, Wilson, Stewart Jr., Chia, Aro, Donajig, Aya, Twitzelny, Anchla, Donash, Ajkachi, Ebashchi, Kachi, that's a shade up between the Shanala. And today's recognition is one that I am very proud to do because of the fact that I come from a rodeo family. Rodeo here on the Navajo Nation was established in 1956 through the AIRCA. Founding fathers such as Mr. Leon Grant, Mr. Roy Spencer, and my dad, and other gentlemen that got together and decided to put an association together for their children, grandchildren, and future generations to come. They used to meet in Gallup at the Chamber of Commerce in Gallup back then, and they put this association together. From that point to now, we have had numerous awards presented to us as cowboys and cowgirls of the various associations. So it gives me great pleasure to announce this year's INFR, which stands for Indian National Finals Rodeo Champions for 2019. Because of the fact that Navajo Nation this year helped and donated funds towards that event. And this is something that I look forward to on behalf of the Navajo Nation to be represented, because it is something. If you ever get a chance, if you've never been there, if you ever get a chance, go there. Because they do what they call a parade of nations, where you have all these flags from different tribes that are represented, and they bring them in. And every time they announce Navajo, even though Navajo didn't have a flag out there, every time they announce Navajo, talk about raising the roof. That's what happens. And it comes from our representation, our support of supporting our cowboys and cowgirls out there. So after 44 years and 450 world championships, the Navajo Nation is proud to have brought home over 130 in the standard events of bareback, steer wrestling, breakaway, saddle bronc, tie down, team roping, rail racing, and bull riding. And there were also the men's and women's all-around titles. And this tradition lives on through our Denver rodeo athletes who are still actively competing in the INFR and beyond. It's been mentioned the other day and yesterday we have PRCA talent, professional rodeo talent out there. In 2019, during the 44th INFR in Vegas, there were 3 Navajos that etched their names into the history books, alongside the 130 Navajos that did their best in Indian professional rodeo. For the first time champion in breakaway, Mr. Gerald Hale, who comes from Beshbito. She has qualified to the INFR in junior breakaway and decided she wanted to pursue a new event. So this year, as her first time qualifying the ladies breakaway, in the rookie, she came back with the title and her gold buckle. Then we have our first time world champion, Mr. Wyatt Nez from Flagstaff, who has won various events from Las Cruces PRCA to Socorro PRCA, and this is in the bull riding. And he was the only one to ride all 4 of his bulls out there at INFR. And then we have Mr. Miles John, who is our back-to-back world champion from Indian Wells for 2018 and 2019, who is also a PRCA Turquoise Circuit Rookie of the Year, healer, won the Flagstaff PRCA Rodeo, Silver City PRCA, Payson PRCA Roping against the best PRCA Ram Truck, National Circuit Finals, and qualifier in 2019. And then we also have Mr. Darrell Boyd, who won in the senior events for being a team roping header. Then I also wanted to recognize not only the contestants, but the professional staff as well. Mr. Nigel Harvey from Solani Springs, who is a bullfighter. Any of you that go to any type of bull riding event, you know how dangerous it is for these bullfighters out there. Mr. Nigel Harvey has gone out there numerous times and has gone even beyond that. He's two-time junior NFR bullfighter. He's international finals rodeo champion, barrelman, the BBR bullfighting champion, MBR bullfighter, professional PRC bullfighter. And he always promotes what he does. He's an advocate for youth and wellness and health. And I've worked with him in the past. And to see him out there, he encourages our young bull riders. He puts his life out there on the line for them each and every time he's out there. So our bullfighter, as well as who I want to recognize. Along with that is also our rodeo announcer, who I worked alongside for several years, Mr. Kyle Tom. Mr. Tom is one that, if you ever go to a rodeo, PRC rodeo, there's one that announcer that came out a long time, a good friend of mine, Mr. Wayne Brooks. You go out there, you hear Wayne Brooks, you put him and Kyle next to each other, their voices sound identical. That's what you hear. That's how far Indian rodeo has come. From being in our own language to bilingual to now where we have representation not only in the arena but up on top. Another one is Lynette Lee. Lynette, I've known ever since we were small. Our parents did rodeo side by side. And she is a 9-time timer to the INFR. These are your personnel. These are your contestants. These are your athletes that promote Navajo Nation out there, beyond our Forsaken Mountains, beyond our states, going to Canada and all over the country, sometimes on sleepless nights, taking care of their livestock. When we own livestock, we say that. It's not the livestock that tells us, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. You take care of these animals to the best of your ability. You feed them, you tend to them on a daily basis. That's what a true horseman is, a true cow person is, a livestock woman is. And like I said, this contribution that we did to the INFR, I would like for it to continue. Because we have talent like this, we have talent that just came up earlier. Mr. Williams. Last year we recognized Mr. Yellowhair's grandson as well, through my Mr. Nelson Begay. So we have talent like this out there in the rodeo arena, and I'm sure in other sports as well. But these individuals here, like Shana said, Mr. Nez, they put that money into their vehicles, into their livestock, to their equipment that they use, their ropes, their speakers, their microphones, timing, watches, because I work alongside the net a lot of times. And so we have to prepare 2-3 hours prior to a rodeo that lasts 2 hours, because we take into consideration that we want to make sure it's a spectacular event for those that come out. And and this is something that we do alongside with, my sister, Cheryl, Yazi, her husband, my nephew, who's been many times champion to the INFR as well, and their children, nephews and nieces. My nephews and nieces as well. Last year, 2 years ago, before I came on this council floor, you guys had the opportunity to recognize my niece, Bailey Bates. I thank you for that as well. We have a former settlement writer as well, Mr. George Arthur. So this is our rodeo talent. So again, this is where it has come, this is where it goes, continues to grow. So I do have some pins from the Navajo Nation to give all of our winners from this past year, and also a certificate speaker for each of them. And the certificates do read, the 24th Navajo Nation Council hereby presents a certificate of recognition to, our first one would be Ms. Jareth Hale, in honor of outstanding performance in the International Finals Rodeo and obtaining the title of Champion Breakaway Roper. Navajo Nation is proud of your accomplishments. Presented this 29th day of January in the year 2020 at the winter session of the 24th Navajo Nation Council. Okay, our next one, Mr. Boyd, I don't believe came today due to work. Our next one, Mr. Nez, Wyatt Nez. Okay, he's in school. So see, they even go to school on scholarships too. So our next one goes again, same wording for the 2019 Indian National Finals Rodeo and obtained the title of Champion Team Roper Healer. Navajo Nation is proud to present your accomplishments. Again, thank you this 2020 at the winter session of 24th Navajo Nation Council, Mr. Miles John. And then the next one, again, goes to your certificate of recognition to Mr. Kyle Tom for your highly esteemed contributions over the years in the rodeo sport arena. We commend you for your efforts and acknowledge the exemplary rodeo announcing performance. The Navajo Nation is proud of your accomplishments. Presented this 29th day of January in the year 2020 at the winter session of the 24th Navajo Nation Council, Wind Rock, Arizona. Again, certificate of recognition to Mr. Nigel Harvey for demonstrating a commitment and dedication to the rodeo contestants in the exhibitions and for carrying out the role of a protection bullfighter and their service and participants in the audiences throughout the nation. Akiha presented this 29th day of January in the year 2020 at the winter session 24th Navajo Nation Council. And in recognition to Ms. Lynette Lee for your highly esteemed contributions over the years in the rodeo sport arena. We commend your efforts and acknowledge exemplary rodeo timing skill. The Navajo Nation is proud of your accomplishment. Presented this 29th day of January in the year 2020, winter session of the Navajo Nation Council, Wind Rock, Arizona. So again, these are our champions. Their families are seated on the side, and they want to say anything, speaker? Okay, all right.
Mr. Speaker and Council, thank you for your time. Honorable Delegate Stewart, we appreciate being here and appreciate the recognition. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold right now, but I've been a part of the Indian National Finals Rodeo for, I believe, 9 years now. My numbers add up. But for 5 years, I get to do the music. 2 of those 5 years, I co-announced the junior, senior, and 2, I announced the main rodeo. So that's 7, by the way. Sorry, my numbers were off. But I just wanted to say, being up there on the announcer stand in the capacity that I've been able to, and to represent the Navajo Nation was a special feeling. And I want to say thank you to the Navajo Nation Council and the Navajo Nation, our people, for supporting the Indian National Finals Rodeo. On behalf of INFR, thank you for supporting the Parade of Nations. It's a great feeling of joy, you know, as a Navajo, to be up there behind the microphone and say the victory lap. Welcome your 2019 World Champion Breakaway Roper, Jareth Hale, and our flag flies right there in the South Point Arena. That is something beyond special. I get chills just thinking about it. You know, we did it for Miles, we did it for Wyatt, we did it for Jareth. So thank you again on behalf of all of our cowboys and cowgirls in Indian professional rodeo, and on behalf of INFR, thank you so much.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Harvey. I'm supposed to be at work right now. I work with the special diabetes program, so my boss is looking. I got a chance to work with Ms. Stewart with the ODY program, and so I've been a part of Navajo Nation. So I really like to thank you guys for bringing us all up here. I was telling Kyle Tom that it took me 12 years to be recognized by the tribe, and I've been recognized nationally in the professional world as a bullfighter, and to be recognized here with my own people, it feels really great. And thank you for this. I really appreciate this, Mr. Stewart, and everybody behind me, and to the previous Navajo World Champions. Awesome job. And to the future talent coming on, it's really great to see you guys in Vegas when I'm out there fighting at the professional events as well. And I just want to promote rodeo, I want to promote education, I want to promote wellness, which is what I do. And so every one of you guys out there, thank you, and just succeed and have faith in what you believe in. And thank you very much for this time.
Good morning. Yate Shay Miles John Shet. Tizlan Shlinky Ani Bashes Chin, now Kadinet Dashache, I'm from White Cone, Arizona, and I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Stewart and the speaker and all the council delegates here, and just want to say thank you again. Yeah.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Jareth Hale. Tkapahanishlan Tachini Bashichin Senjakin Dashache Todik Oju Dashnale. And I want to thank you all for being here this morning, and I want to thank Mr. Stewart for the recognition and the council delegates and the speaker. And like Mr. Kyle Tom said, it's definitely a special feeling you get hearing the Navajo Nation being called in such a big arena, knowing that there's so many other tribes that we are competing against. And hearing when other people won, it was, I got chills. I'm very excited and very happy for the recent world champions when they brought back home the world title. And when it was my turn, oh my God, I was speechless. I was trying to smile. I was like, I didn't know how to feel, but when I went in there and the Navajo Nation flag was behind me, it was very special to me. And I compete in rodeo, and I think it's an honor to bring back the achievements that I have won near and far. And so I was very thankful, and I'm very grateful to bring back this world title to the Navajo Nation. So, yeah.
Okay, so thank you all for coming out on short notice. I know I got a hold of you individually, and so I thank you all for that. And Kyle, I don't think you were expecting this. But it's good. I thank all of you for being here, including the audience. I thank you for being here. That way you get to see our talent, and especially council, my colleagues, brothers, sisters, uncles, Chase. You get to see them here for yourself. And Shanaj, bring your Shetland. Okay, so thanks again. And also, I also give appreciation to my mom, Nellie Stewart. I said rodeo talent started way back with my dad. My mom was one of the first timers for AIRCA, along with Fern Spencer from Tuhachi. So she always talks about the rodeo days way back, different rodeos that happened here and there. So again, that's where we come from. So and it is something. My nephews are in also the wild horse race. They did really good this past several years. So we have that talent out there in different areas. So again, thank you, Speaker, Council, Navajo Nation. Thank you for recognizing our champions this year.
Like that. There's a cover. So what's the cover for this one? That, thank you very much, Honorable Wilson Stewart, for that presentation. That, moving on down, colleagues, we are here again. If there's any more recognizing guests or visiting officials on the floor, we'll go to that real quick, and then we can go ahead and get back to the agenda. Chairman Yazzie, floor is yours.
Speaker and members of the council, good morning, and also to our guests in the gallery, and to our cowboys that have been recognized. I was just going to ask Kyle Tom to give a quick demonstration on how he announced his rodeo. I was quite surprised when I went to the ceremonial rodeo this year, and my daughter and I were walking into the stands, and I thought there was, well, no offense, a non-native announcer. But when I sat down and I looked at the box, I saw Kyle there. And I text Kyle, I said, Kyle, is that you? And Kyle said, yes, it is. But I don't know, I thought maybe it'd be nice to have him just demonstrate real quick how he announces. Maybe that I'm a champion bull rider, okay? So, where's Kyle at? Yeah, sure, right, yeah, sure. Kyle, say that I'm a champion bull rider.
Go ahead, Ms. Tom.
Do I hit request? Oh, there we go. I feel like Bob Barker, you know, that old long microphone. Now, by the way, no disrespect, you are my delegate there in Yamato, but I got to send you an invoice for this. I'm kidding. All right, to shoot number 3, we're going to go right now. Our champion bull rider. He comes from through New Mexico. Let's ride with Edmund Yazzie right now. He's got to ride higher than 82 points. Seth Damon in the lead in the bull riding as Edmund climbs down to the bucket chute. He's a bird bull they call Tornado. There you go.
That? Moving on down. Chairman So, on the recognition and guest officials.
Thank you, Speaker, Otto, distinguished and honorable colleagues. I was going to make a motion to amend. No, just kidding. I'd like to recognize Miss Norma James, the Bacapruit Chapter Vice President, as well as Miss Geneva Warito. She's the President of the Community Land Use Planning Committee. They're over here in this north east side of the chambers, over here. If you would rise. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Otto, congratulations to our world champions and all the young folks that are in the sport of rodeo. Appreciate that. Otto, thank you, Brother Wilson Stewart, for the prayer to open our day's discussions. Thank you.
Okay, that, moving on down, Honorable Freeland.
Thank you, Speaker all the champions that are leaving, as well as the Notah family. Thank you for the contributions of your late father. This morning I wanted to recognize one of our young men who is with us today, Mr. Albert Calamity Jr., I believe, right, Junior? He's our police officer from Crown Point District, the pride of Crown Point Eastern District. He comes from Casimiro Lake. I had a privilege and honor of working with his mother and the chapter officials out there my previous tenure. We really have a lot of respect, gratitude, and appreciation for our Navajo police officers. And this young man stepped up to the plate. He took the challenge and became a police officer. He used to do ride-alongs with the late Sergeant Martin. And we really appreciate him being here today. And I always bring the smile to my face when I see Crown Point District PD, even though they stopped me. But no, I'm just kidding. But really, it's good to see Crown Point PD down there, though, and I'm glad he's here today with us today. Speaker, thank you.
Okay. Moving on down. Thank you, officer, for being here with us today too as well. Cat. Moving on down. Chairman Inyo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sir Speaker. Just want to recognize a good man sitting to my right here, President of the Western Navajo Agency Council, and also Mr. Stevens. No. Hank Stevens, kado. Yes. I had the opportunity to work with him for different projects and everything, so I did what he's seen. So, and also he's president of Navajo Mountain Chapter. So yeah. The other one is Speaker, kado. While we're on announcements, one of the things that I guess as we move along with our council sessions, we get heated and everything, and our mouth tends to speak before our brain catches up. So I just want to say, apologize to my brother Herman Daniels for yesterday's not so smart remark when I made when he made a motion to recess. So Delegate Daniels, I apologize.
Honorable Daniels, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. Thank you for the wonderful prayer. My little brother, Delegate Stewart, I recognize the extensions and I don't recognize the Liako. She can't stay away, not just on chapter, not just on is about 4 hours from here. So I see my brother for coming out, Mr. Hank Stevens, who's not just on chapter president, also Western Agency President, and the Agency Council. Thank you.
Okay, Zach. Moving on down, about Otto So. Once, going twice.
Thank you. I did expect the recognition of Donald Denetdale from Ecuador. He's been an educator for many, many years. It's NTU and Navajo Community College. in college ande NCC de active model ko ade astuidan leni ade iknin lane ade be the neck on sa kesto neck e ya so kosi e ade days la e ade ite kero addition yela kahayado he retired and he touched a lot of people, and so we'd like to recognize him.
Went on down, Honorable Holona.
Thank you, Speaker, and members of the 24th Navajo Nation Council. I just want to recognize one individual. He's been here all along, and he's council delegate 4 terms, I believe it was. Mr. George Arthur, sitting over here on the west side. George, thank you for all your support, George. I know you've been here. I'd like to yield my time to Mr. Jamie Henio, Speaker.
That, Honorable Henio, 4 minutes, 30 seconds, good?
Delegate, Delegate Palona. Just wanted to recognize this young man for a long, long time, but I kept forgetting. I just seen him again. So, oh yeah, we have a dignitary working for the legislative branch, all the way from Yakima, Washington, Mr. Asa Washin. And he is a dignitary in his own right, as far as being a councilman for the tribe up there, and also being head of a different organization. And it's good that he's over here with us, working for Navajo Nation. So I just wanted to say hello to you, Mr. Washin. If you would stand up and be recognized.
Okay, with that, went on down, I don't see anybody else on the board. That, let's move on to the agenda. We are back. Actually, I don't have anything on the agenda. We'd have to bring back the legislation 0380-19. Is there a motion? Bring that back. Motion, Honorable Wanika. Second, Honorable Vice Chair Walker. Motion to reconsider this legislation 0380-19. Comments, questions? Vice Chair Smith on the motion to reconsider.
I think I pressed my button a little too early, Speaker, but I'll reserve my time.
Reserve your time, 4:53. I don't see anybody else on the board. Going back to reserve time, 4:53. Vice Chair Smith. Moves it on. That go to board on reconsideration of legislation 0380-19. I don't know how that's going to exhibit. So where is it?
Where is the amendment?
Do you have a printout?
She's showing him right now. Yeah, that's the one they have.
But there's already that one pending amendment that is so.
So he's gonna add that to this pending amendment, Chairman, so then. Right?
Do you want to hand it out now?
Okay, with that, Honorable Gene So, Honorable Otto So, Honorable Elmer Begay, Honorable Stewart, Honorable Brown, and Chair Charles Newton. Honorable Otto So, Honorable Stewart, Honorable Brown, Madam Chair Charles Newton, going once, going twice, going 3 times, locking down.
18-0.
18 in favor, 0 opposed, Chair not voting. What's his name? 29? Okay, with that, go back to Honorable Keon Begay. You have 3 minutes.
This morning, the Kahan Shido, the speaker, Ado Kudo, Shantat, Bishpas Anni Clinic, Ado Shikada and Clinic, Ada, Dyson Saki, the Ada, there's Go Kudodin, Sos, Kudon, Hidaki, Soski, a Sound Need Sos, Satla. Be dot so Jotadi, that Nego, Kudon, Bishpas, and then the Shinti, Kudoch at the Lashin Quake. Binyet, which the Nati kind of legislate so. Dina be hob Kaya has Argo do you, or what a hot Aki Kudo, Nabe Hob Washington, Lidiki, Benti, Kahokodo, Washington, or a company, the did our Nahot, Ekit at in the did ego on Habendas, the stores that don't be couch, don't be any couch, don't eat Niniki, Isiki at Dida. A coco, Kodo, Mr. Whaley, down, Quaggy, Shiga Hasata. But this morning, the egg got Mr. Yaz, the sheet up 18 and Jeda Dozi, a Kodo, a Satosha Kaigi, don't they? A caution and Arnold Lenigi, Dana, or you lists of all these sites, or Sayan, or Sahangi. There should be a copy coming forth. Kodot, or you, I think they have all the 500 plus uranium sites listed here. So, that's it, or Jobo, so that's a bit behind that sound of this, and so quite it's just a recommendation. Sheet out, set of this addition and not Lenigi, a cocord, Ashini, a quite Opana, or can't get 8 or to teach and not neatly 8. ko ahit ashin ko do jo e be keti ka do over 90 kando le kwake. With that, Mr. Speaker, I would like to have Mr. Yazi explain or introduce himself and also explain the two document that's forward to the Navajo Nation Council. Mr. Speaker.
You have 50 seconds.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to come up and speak before my council delegates, before Speaker, and provide some background information on the two documents that were presented. What you have and what was included and what we provided was to identify the 500 plus Navajo abandoned uranium sites that we are currently working towards addressing. 219 of those being identified either through the identified responsible parties or through identified trust agreements with the U.S. government. And then, so you have two documents, one that identifies.
Okay, colleagues, this is the lineup. You have to remember, we did, Honorable Sterling So motion to table. That motion, then Honorable Otto So second that. That vote was 12 in favor, 11 opposed, motion carried. That tabling motion was until today. We did reconsider that. It's back on the agenda. Colleagues, remember that we did table the table the legislation during Honorable Chairman Daniel So's Amendment 1. So as of right now, on Amendment 1, we have, this is the lineup. We have Vice Chair Smith, you have 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Chairman Yazzie, you have no more time. Honorable Otto So, you have 3 minutes and 29 seconds. Honorable Daniels, you have no more time. Honorable Eugene So, you have no more time. Honorable Vice Chair Walker, you have no more time. Honorable Yellow Hair, you have no more time. Honorable Madam Chair Crowdy, you have 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Honorable Freeland, you have 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Chairman Nez, you have 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Honorable Charlene So, you have no more time. Next up on the list was Honorable Slater. Honorable Slater is not here. I don't have anybody else on the docket. So let me go back to Chairman Daniel So. There was questions to you, Chairman, if you remember.
Yes, thank you, Speaker Damon, Otto, honorable members of the Navajo Nation Council, Otto, Che, sponsor and agent, Mr. Yazzie. The tabling motion basically had said that to give time for people to come up with the language and even Legislative Council to bring the language. And in that regard, based on that direction, we have new language. And Mr. Yazzie, agent, spoke to that in the area of 2 attachments that will be included, the all-inclusive list as exhibits A1 and A2. That's the 500 and so lists, as well as those that have been identified. And therefore this new language, Mr. Speaker, would include what is in the handouts. The handout that is titled number 1, insert on page 2, line 22, the new paragraph F as follows. And based on that, I'm modifying this particular previous language that was in the amendment.
Okay, modification.
And then the second part would be Number 2, insert page 5 at the very end of the actual cleanup position statement. That is the Exhibit A to the legislation. The actual language basically will say the Navajo Nation's uranium cleanup position statement is evolving as new data is developed, identifying Navajo communities that have experienced health impacts and loss of life from exposure to uranium within or near the external boundaries of the Navajo Nation, including but not limited to those sites and communities identified in Exhibit A1 and A2. The other is new language. There was concern that there was only consultation with the president, and basically didn't, the invitation didn't extend to the appropriate committees or even members of the Navajo Nation Council. So the amendment would also further say, page 2, line 27, insert a new section 4 as follows. Underline section 4, consultation. The Navajo Nation respectfully requests the United States Environmental Protection Agency engage in consultation with the Navajo Nation Council and the Navajo Nation President concerning this Navajo Nation uranium cleanup position. This issue is of vital importance to the Navajo people. Then there was a request at the same time, Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. regarding
Honorable Chairman, so there's 3 different amendments that you're trying to do all in one right now. I recommend that you just do the first one. There's 3 different amendments that you're doing that got ready for council. It would be best that you just concentrate. I highly recommend, Chairman, so that you just do the first one first, and then I can go back. Because and the reason why is because those other 2 we haven't discussed, and those 2 are not. One, they're not distributed out. 2, they're not in the same limelight or the same. The same area of the First Amendment. So they're totally outside the boundaries of your First Amendment that you're working on right now. Chairman, so.
Thank you, Speaker. I'll abide by your counsel and just do the First Amendment then.
Okay, so.
That is up on the screen.
Yes. So what we're doing now is go back up on the screen.
With assurance that I get back to do the Second Amendment.
Go back up on the screen. Yeah, 136 reserved on reserve time.
Okay.
So colleagues, this is what Chairman So is doing. If you remember, everybody was putting on their communities onto Amendment 1. Now he's striking out that amendment, and this is his modification to his amendment. And you did read that into the record. And that's what you have handed out. And there's an Exhibit A1 and A2 that's attached to that. And that has all the sites across the whole Navajo Nation. I believe you said 524 sites. That's his motion. Or that's what he's modifying his motion to now. Question of privilege by Madam Chair Charles Newton.
Speaker, just for clarification, we did receive the 2 documents, I believe, that the gentleman referenced earlier before his time went out. Are these the 2 documents that are referenced as Exhibit A1 and A2? And if so, shouldn't they be properly stamped in so that we're aware of which documents they're referencing in regards to this amendment? Thank you.
Madam Chair, Charles Newton, for the record, that is correct. They were stamped in before they made copies out to you, but after they made them. So if you see the one that says list of sites under settlements and potential responsible parties, that's Exhibit A1. The second one that says Navajo abandoned uranium mine orphan sites draft, that's A2. That, let me go back to anybody, comments, questions? I don't have any new players. Let me go back to reserve time. Vice Chair Smith, 4 minutes, 16 seconds.
Speaker, thank you. Do we have a motion on this second amendment? Because the first amendment was, how are we doing this? Oh, should we be entertaining a motion in a second before we start discussing this and then?
There's already a motion, Vice Chair Smith. That motion is held by Chairman So, and he modified his motion.
So now it's discussion on this new amendment? Is that what we're doing?
With reserve time.
Where are we at with this, Speaker?
Question of privilege, Speaker.
The Chairman So has the amendment, and Chairman So amended his amendment because of all the recommendations that was coming through, and that was the reason why that the tabling motion was in place yesterday, was to get all the recommendations. So sitting down with EPA, Department of Justice, and Office of Legislative Counsel, this amendment was crafted. So now, since this amendment was crafted by Chair Smith, Honorable Daniel So, holding the motion right now, has amended his amendment to that suggestion. So he still holds the motion right now. And go back up. Go back up. This was the original amendment, if you see that. That's where you recommended to put in, what did you recommend to put in there yesterday? Red Valley, or not Red Valley? Sanders, and Rio Perco. So that's the one, if you remember, Vice Chair Smith, that's the one we're working on. So now, because everybody was worried about if there were certain things left out, now we see that that's all in there in Exhibit A and Exhibit A1 and A2, Vice Chair Smith. So back to your question about who, because Honorable Paul Begay is not here as a seconding party right now, you're correct. Where we need, so I do need a second in that, because Honorable Paul Begay is not here.
Question of privilege.
Honorable Paul, Vice Chair Walker is the new seconding party. Question of privilege, Madam Chair, Charles Newton.
So, Speaker, just for clarification, so we have a new second, it's not Paul Begay, with this new amendment. So, but we're using the time from yesterday's amendment against the delegates who have just been presented this second amendment. So my question is, in this event, does our time start back all over again because it's a new amendment with a new second? Or are we being held to the same time that we've already used? Thank you, Speaker.
Since it's because it's the same discussion and the same business, the whole reason why that we went into tabling the motion was Honorable Charlene So recommended to go into tabling this until today in order for this amendment to be crafted better. And that's what they did. So because we're on the same business, Madam Chair, Honorable Charles Newton, we are still on the same amendment, so no, you won't be not giving your time back. The only way it would be done is if Chairman So withdraws his amendment and then we start over again. So now we have a new seconding party, Honorable Vice Chair Walker. That, Vice Chair Smith, back to you. 4 minutes, 10 seconds.
And this is on the amendment regarding Chairman So's amendment, correct? With all due respect, the amendment here, under Exhibit A1,
It does not include the areas that I recommend, I suggested, Sanders, Rio Perco. It's not in there, it's just basically saying those areas that are already identified will be the only ones that will be considered. So, Chairman So, if you look at the map on A1, on Exhibit A, it specifically does not have those areas that were presented in there. So I reserve my time.
Okay, reserve your time at 3:18. Moving on down. Honorable Otto, 3 minutes, 29 seconds.
The new proposed listing we got from Bender Mine or from EPA or whomever only has, I'm guessing that this is only within certain vicinities, not across the board. I'll go ahead and reserve my time again. Hold on. Let me continue.
2 minutes and 53 seconds. You want to speak on the amendment?
Huh?
You want to speak on the amendment?
Yeah, I mean, they still have concern about their areas not being included, but the amendment is inclusive of everything, right? I don't know if that needs to be clarified, because it's still, it isn't questionable, their area is not included.
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
But you can't go on for 10 minutes, Shay. You can't go on for 10 minutes. Honorable Calmagay.
Sinadana Senigi Kati Amendment Nas Isho Shay. Di Katajo Nas the Navajo Nation could also change amendment the lage. I don't mean to clarify the his amendment the Chukat Judi Kodo listing the in Hichapolia. And I know how Jokodo a uranium office there's more than that. Oh, I mean that's why we're including, but not limit to those sites and communities identified, but not limit to them. So any other area, inclusive every area on the Navajo Nation is specifically is how we're trying to word it. Not to be only just to certain location, to only certain areas. So benago go dikiti ego language ki aliyashan unless again, I mean, it's just a matter of asking the motioning party if you really want to identify. I mean, that's up to you guys. But again, I'm thinking that this is crafted by the Department of Justice working with Legislative Council and EPA. That would really just have everything that on the Navajo Nation, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Continue on, going back to reserve time. Question of privilege by Madam Chair Crowdy.
Thank you, Speaker. So I would like to know from Department of Justice, is this overall all-encompassing on the contamination cleanup? I'm reading, this is just what's been identified. Anybody who does uranium cleanup on Navajo knows not all sites have been identified. So Department of Justice.
The two lists combined, A1 and A2, combined list the 524 identified uranium mines. They do not include the mill sites, they do not include the Rio Puerco or the Sanders contamination, or other potentially contaminated areas. I believe the language of the amendment was intended to encompass other areas other than, in addition to the lists, but you're correct that the lists themselves do not include those areas.
Okay.
Question of privilege, Speaker.
Question of privilege by Madam Chair Charles Newton.
Go ahead, Speaker. So in regards to Exhibit A1 and Exhibit A2, since we are referencing them on this amendment, perhaps we can get an explanation from the sponsor as to what these exhibits are, just for clarification, and also to get it onto the record, because all we're talking about is Exhibit A1 and A2. And according to Mr. Carr there, it sounds like there are some contaminated sites that have not been included. So my question is, can we get an explanation in regards to this list so that we know what this list encompasses? And more importantly, when we're including it in the amendment, we're aware of what, of the purpose of including it in the amendment. Thank you.
Let me go back to EPA. Kiambige, let me go back to Kiambige first. You're the one that brought these documents in, so I don't know where you got these documents from, and if there's a recommendation or you want to explain these documents, maybe EPA can help explain them for you. But Honorable Kiambige, to answer that question.
There's an official number of sites on the Navajo Nation, it'll take a long time for us to go back into the time how the EPA started working, initiating through phase 1 to phase 2 in working on these uranium sites across the Navajo Nation. That's officially listed, but there are additional sites. Mr. So, maybe further making sure that those areas are but I'd like to defer a majority of the explanation to Mr. Yazzie from EPA for him to explain further on these two documents that we have before the council, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Yazzie.
Thank you, and I definitely appreciate the questions being asked. The importance of what we're doing and what we're trying to address is to address going into 80 years of affected communities from abandoned uranium mining on Navajo. We look to identify funding. That's what drives it. And in doing so, we have to go and find the responsible party. And maybe the definition of CERCLA really needs to be understood. What that means is going out and looking at who did the work, who created the hazardous waste materials and the existing conditions that are there, and looking to them to address it. So when we're looking at a place to start, we're looking at abandoned uranium mines. So what I have provided to council today are two lists. One that identifies the mine sites, abandoned uranium mine areas that have identified responsible parties, and those sites that have been covered under trusts, where we've identified the federal government to be the responsible party. And A2 is a listing of sites that do not have any responsible parties, nor have any funding to support the activities. So we talk about Sanders, Shenandoah, Rio Puerco. This opportunity we have to continue to do assessments on these sites drives us to push the government in this position statement to hold the government, to hold their feet to the fire and have it be understood that they're responsible, and that's where we would be looking for additional funding to address groundwater contamination if we can show and prove that it's there. Thank you.
Okay. That, go back to reserve time. Honorable Carney, 2 minutes, 45 seconds.
Thank you, Speaker. On the amendment, I think what needs to be clear, Speaker, and maybe the best process would have been a complete withdrawal, because this amendment excludes some of the wording, the verbiage that was there before. So now I'm scrambling to try to get amendment language to meet what was already concurred on the original amendment. I want to say, Speaker, I appreciate Chairman So for the amendment, trying to incorporate, if I may, if we could add the mill sites and Rio Puerco to this amendment, so that it satisfies part of the initial original amendment. I do want to say, colleagues, we're working together to try to make this a document that reflects the needs of the Navajo Nation. But there has to be some accountability in terms of communication. As oversight, we can provide and speak for our people, but we have executive programs that do, this is their job. They're the subject matter experts. And so I'm concerned now on how they're communicating on what the needs are of the Navajo Nation. So, because also what's not in this amendment is like AML and other entities that have been doing cleanup contamination for generations. And so, Speaker, I would ask that we have a communication with the Office of the President and Vice President on where are we coming together on uranium contamination. It is a priority for the council, and that's why we're addressing it. But also there's so many different executive programs that need to come together and communicate. And so that's what I'm gonna say to this amendment. But colleagues, I do plan to, I'm going to have to develop an amendment to address the New Mexico downwinders that are not part of this, and also the issues with the contaminated homes that are not part of this amendment. And so if, I don't know what other amendments are coming. I heard 2 more amendments by delegates. So if we could work on combining that language, because it's not controversial in the sense, unless Chairman So wants to add it to this language, is that we need the New Mexico portion of our people to be compensated as downwinders and to really look at their contaminated homes. Thank you, Speaker.
So. Come back to you on the request to modify, Chairman So. That, moving on down. Chairman So, there was a request to modify.
Okay, again, I'm going to modify it one more time. There was the old amendment number 1, page 2, line 22. F. The Navajo Nation's position statement is evolving and developing because new data is to be added at a later point in time to reflect the issues within the jurisdictional, well, with period. And then we'll continue with the second part, the current amendment, the Navajo Nation's uranium cleanup position. Is it? Oh. Yeah. I'm going to, This amendment that I read into, the modified amendment, I'll stay with, and I would encourage colleague Delegate Crotty to propose a new, perhaps an amendment 2 or 3 or 4. That would, the current amendment is inclusive and states exactly what we intended.
Okay. Pat, moving on down then. Honorable, is there a new player? New player, Honorable James.
In regards to the amendment, it's, I'm believing it's Exhibit B. This listing here. My question is going to be, it says draft July 24th, 2015. So I'm assuming that this listing here is not updated. So that's my question to you guys, and based off of that, my next other question is on page 2, where it says count 107. We don't have the complete information. It looks like it was a printing job error, or maybe it was deleted. It's not readable on that page as well.
On what page?
Is it page 3? But if you look at the count numbers on the side, I believe it's 107. Count 107. So part of it's not readable. So I don't know what my colleagues would think, but at this point, with all of these different documents coming through, I believe that we should just hold off on this legislation until the next regular or regular or a special session, until all of these listings are updated and formatted with the correct notations on these attachments, because the documents that we have here, there's no indication of what is Exhibit A1 and what is Exhibit A2 as well on any of these documentation. All of these documents are just practically just given to us, and my Nale, Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton, please keep your sidebar conversation as low. She made a comment in regards to, we need to make sure that the document that we put together is all and complete and not all in all different orders. That way it tells us as legislators that we are all singing the same tune. At this point, with these documents coming to us like this, with no proper notations on them and so forth, all these different amendments going on, we're not all singing the same tune. And at this point, I think we're going to end up, we're currently being watched as well, and we're already providing the wrong message to individuals out there in the world by operating in this concept. We have a document that's before us that says back from 2015, and it's in draft format. So with that, I'll just go ahead and make a motion to table either until a regular session or a special session. Or what I could also do is defer this legislation back to Resource and Development Committee. I'll make that motion to defer this back to RDC.
Second.
There's a motion to refer legislation 0380-19 back to Resource and Development Committee. And there's a second by Madam Chair Charles Newman. I'll accept that referral. Under Rule 20B, motion to refer to a committee shall be seconded and is non-debatable. Colleagues? Is it, well, if it's just going back to the next meeting, to their next meeting, refer back to their next meeting?
Yes, refer it back to the regular Resource Development Committee meeting on February 5th.
Referring back to regular meeting on February 5th. Resource and Development Committee meeting on February 5th. Motion by Honorable James, second by Madam Chair Charles Newman. Okay, that is not debatable.
Point of privilege, Speaker.
Point of privilege.
Speaker, I also want to refer you to Rule 20C that states that the motion to refer to committee shall specify the action to be taken by the committee and shall, if required, set a time for the council to take up the matter after completion of deliberation by the committee. So I think we have a date, but I don't think we're actually specifying the action that has to be taken in regards to this, this being referred back to committee.
In Honorable James' presentation just now, he indicated that he would like to have their action at Resource and Development Committee to put together more accurate documents, and I think that's something that RDC has privy over. So in that represent, if there's an action that's in response to that, there could be a follow-up, and that follow-up could be inclusive to a work session, or even referring this to NABI, and then NABI could refer it back to Health, Education, and Human Services too as well. At that time, that's when it'll be up to Resource and Development Committee to come up with a recommendation. With that?
Recognize, Speaker Ashmore, before you recognize.
Are you, on McKeown Brigade is non-debatable?
I said before you recognize it.
Are you can't. I already recognize a second Honorable Count Brigade. Point of privilege by Honorable Count Brigade.
Kadosh Nadat, I don't know why we even had to recess. Nobody even worked on it. I'm sure it's going to be the same when it comes back to us again. It's just a problem. I mean, it's just a situation that the council continues to kick this down the road. But can you please direct us, me, and I'll go to all, in each and every the committee, to assign the chair down the Shindigi, assign it to the committee. Let us have a day discussing it at the committee level, us showing that, and making sure the EPA, the commissioners, uranium commissioners, and all that's necessary, all those essential people to be there. That's my request, Speaker.
Question of privilege, Speaker.
Question of privilege, Madam Chair Charles Newman.
So my question then, Speaker, is when this is on RDC's calendar, can we all be informed of the date prior to them putting it on their calendar so that we could reach out to the people who need to be present at that meeting? Because I do see what Shitsui, Honorable Begay is stating, in that we are referring this back to a committee, and then people don't show up, or people don't provide information that has to be included on this. So I, for one, would like to be invited to that meeting when RDC is having that meeting, and be allowed to provide input in that. So if they could give us that information, thank you.
Are you sitting here? The meeting will be, this is referred, Honorable James indicated that this will be at the next regular meeting, and that's February 5th. Okay, with that, point of privilege. Honorable Daniels.
Thank you, Speaker. Kodo, Arunana Kododa, Shnat Ano Shengi Kodo Nagaita, RDC, which is on dot, nation and gave, we Ashland, the reason why is that this legislation went before RDC, Navikia, Joy Ada Navikia, Tienet Unaswilia, Karinta, Unahunado, Nation Neko. So Arunana meeting, Sikia, Nagaita, officer of speakers.
Point of order, Honorable Smith. Vice Chair Smith.
There's a motion and there's a second. We're starting to debate. Let's vote it. If it votes down, it stays here. If it votes, it goes back. Let's go that direction. Thank
Honorable
you.
Daniels.
Question of privilege?
Honorable Daniels. Are you done? Honorable Brown, question of privilege.
Speaker, 24th Navajo Nation Council. I understand the Speaker's office and State Task Force will be in Salt Lake City, Utah on the 5th and the 6th. I plan to be in Salt Lake City with all the critical issues, the Utah issues that face Navajo. Is it possible to find maybe the following, the 12th will be in Cayenne to maybe another day, the 19th? I think it'll give us enough time to bring all our documents together.
The recommendation, this is just a recommendation. The recommendation would be, the recommendation would specifically, question of privilege by Honorable Freeland.
I'm not debating. I'm going to point out the fact that I'm wearing pink today, Speaker. Tough enough to wear pink day, me, Honorable Eugene So. Should this legislation go back if we all want to put input into it? Shouldn't it go back to Navakia?
True.
Question. Thank you.
We could do it on the 13th.
The 13th?
Hey, that, what a privilege, Honorable Otto So.
They've been used this to debate it too. No, one thing is that just to make sure that what we want to request and make sure that upon returning it back, directing it back to the committee, we need to have every entity involved in this process right now. There's employment issues in there that needs to be addressed. There's other issues such as prioritizing mines and so forth. So make sure everybody is at the table, whether it's the commission, whether it's EPA, so forth. Go with that. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable James. Okay, with that, there's a motion and second, good board. Non-debatable. There's no recommendation to change.
The recommendation was the 13th.
Yes, but Honorable James didn't say it. He's holding the motion, and I called for it. Good board. This is motioning to refer this legislation back to on February 5th, back to RDC. Honorable Begay, Honorable Eugene So, Honorable Crotty, Honorable Nika, Chairman Henio, Madam Chair Charles Newton. Okay, everyone has voted. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Lock it down.
9-12.
9 in favor, 12 opposed. Motion fails. That back to the board. New player, Madam Chair Charles Newton, on Amendment 1.
Speaker, we just got done debating this issue, so I'm just gonna make it very clear. I motion that we refer this back to NABI on February 13th, since we already have that on our schedule, and invite everybody to the table that needs to be there. Thank you. I reserve my time.
Motion to refer this back to Navajo Committee on February 13th. A second by Madam Chair Crotty. Referring, and this is to Madam Chair Charles Newman.
Yeah.
What is the goal?
February 13th, I said that we invite everybody that has a say-so in this uranium mine, or with uranium, that everybody be invited to the table so that we can address this position statement and make one clear statement on behalf of the nation.
I would like to add on to that, Madam Chair. If there's anybody that is wanting to do an amendment to this, please bring your amendments ready by that time so they can add them in there.
Sounds good.
So we
Bring
can
your
discuss
amendments.
that. If this passes.
By February 13th.
Motion by Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton, second by Honorable Crotty. It's undebatable. Go to board. On legislation 0380-19. February 13th. Do they come? Okay. Do they work with you? Do those individuals work with you when you ask them to come? Yeah, they'll come. You said they'll come. Well, we'll start, if this does pass, I'll start contacting them. Honorable Chairman So, Honorable Eugene So. Question of privilege by Vice Chair Smith.
Speaker, on the 13th, myself and Helena will not be here. Please excuse us. We'll be in DC on that Navajo NAFI business irrigation project testifying. So please excuse us.
Okay, that. Moving on down. I see everybody has voted. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Lock it down.
15-6.
15 in favor, 6 opposed. Speaking of voting, motion carries to refer this back to NABI on the 13th. Question of privilege by Honorable Keon Gay.
Mr. Speaker, officially, I'll withdraw the legislation and redraft a new one. Thank you.
Okay. If there is still a legislation.
I'm the co-sponsor.
If legislation 0380-19 is no more, we will notify everyone and that will not be on the February 13th. Might be if there's no one drafted. Okay, that.
You have announcements?
Honorable Madam Chair Crott, hold on, are you, I don't have anything else on our agenda. Let me go on down to close the session and announcements. Announcements, Madam Chair Crotty.
Thank you, Speaker. This is important. So if I could request that you add on our Nabakiatian agenda on the 13th, a report on Navajo Nation's cleanup for uranium and all of those parties that were identified, so that we could have a report at Navikiatin, and then we could work together to, we'll have that draft legislation, and I'll drop it in the hopper.
Got it?
I'll yield my time.
Okay, we'll go ahead and work on that. And that, you're talking about the next Navi meeting. Okay, Madam Chair Crotty, on the 13th. Okay. All right, moving on down. Madam Chair Charles Newton on the announcements.
Yeah, Speaker, on February 10th, colleagues, I just want to remind you that we have the Public Safety Work Session Part 2 that we'll be having here in Council Chambers at 9 o'clock. I hope to see all of you here because public safety is a concern for the nation, and it would be great to get feedback so that when it does proceed forward, these projects, that we don't have any issues that we run into. And because this is a citizen money project with all of the projects that have been identified for public safety, I think that this is going to garner a long discussion. So with that, I just want to remind colleagues again, February 10th, we have the Public Safety Work Session Part 2 to discuss all of the public safety facilities that need to be addressed here on the Navajo Nation. Thank you.
I'll reserve my time just in case.
Yeah. Okay. Honorable Brown.
Ayate Speaker, Ado Beshman sa Ando Shikedo Shitne Concretna Kinasal Kanigi. Speaker and Shananta, there are 3 Utah state legislatures that are being considered. A few bills that will be impacting tribes in Utah, including us as Navajo. The first one is HB 116, the Missing, Murdered, and Indigenous Women, Girls, and LGBTQ Task Force. They will be discussing this. There's some opposition there because of the other legislation, which is the HJR 10. This is the joint resolution addressing the use of names, images, and symbols of Native American and other indigenous people. So this will be, they want to allow their schools and universities to use Native American mascots. And this is something that a lot of the tribes have been fighting against, especially the League of Native American Voters. I will send this email to the 24th Navajo Nation Council. So what we're worried about is they want to move this quickly. I think there were some markups already. So there is a website, and if we can call the Laws Committee Chair, if we can call them so they do not move these legislations forward. Yeah.
Okay, that, moving on down, Honorable Freeland on announcements.
Thank you, Speaker. Next week, on Monday, the State Task Force will be meeting down in Phoenix with Lewis and Roca. That meeting is set for 9 a.m. The State Task Force will then go to the Arizona State Capitol in the afternoon. We do have a couple of items on the discussion agenda for Monday morning. Wednesday, we'll be in Salt Lake City, meeting with our supporting and advocating with our brother, Honorable Nathaniel Brown, and our sister Charlene So, and Honorable Herman Daniels on state of Utah issues. And then Thursday on the 6th, State Task Force will be meeting in Albuquerque with the lobbyist, Patty Williams, in Albuquerque at the Hispano Chamber of Commerce. And then Friday the 7th is Indian Day at the New Mexico Legislature in Santa Fe. We'll be there as well. So next week is a lot of activities going on. The reason why we're pushing this is because last week in Navikiatin, our state priorities were passed. So we need to get moving on our state task force issues. So with that, I reserve my time, Speaker, in case I think of anything else. Thank you.
That, moving on down, Honorable Keon McGay.
Mr. Speaker,
Colleague Ashon, that's not Saya. If you guys
Colleagues,
could,
if you, Kim Gia the floor is asking you to please listen to him.
I don't say, oh, that DJ. FirstNet is one area that Mr. Speaker, though, colleague, I believe the action is just more of like, I want to claim this as the lead person, the reason why a lot of my legislation had been withdrawn or had been defeated. That's the bottom line, and I know that. Should go to she Hanigit Adida, Benango, oh, she catch an on Miss Quagga, Miss Bons Anni Clinic. But I just want to give a heads up to the council that spring session speaker, I talked to Chief of Staff this morning. My focus will be on FirstNet, telecommunication, and solid waste management. That's the three main legislation that I will bring before the council by then. Some will stop at RDC, and some will be at maybe NABI. If not, majority of them will be coming forth before the Navajo Nation Council during the spring session. So all these meetings, if you truly mean it, my colleague participating, and I've tried it twice, sending email out to all of my colleagues, but none and no response. But yet we choose to just bring it back to certain committees. So I'll send out a schedule. That will be my justification, Mr. Speaker. My justification that I have informed the council today, January 29th at 12:14 p.m. that I will send out a schedule of the three items that I've indicated, that I will ask each and every committee or council members, if you want to sponsor it, do it. But I can just help along the way. If you want your name to be the prime sponsor, I'm okay with it. But I want to push FirstNet, solid waste management, and telecommunication legislation. And if it comes early, I may ask for a special session, because telecommunication is knocking at our door just like uranium. We're not even ready for anything at then. So Mr. Speaker, so I've asked Chief of Staff this morning to identify which staff will work closely with me. And I did walk across to the President's office, but I was told that he was in recording. But I did talk to the Chief of Staff, Mr. Paulson Chaco, to identify a staff from his office to work with me on these three areas. But again, it has to go through my committee as well, RDC members. So and I'm hoping that any legislation, and I'm hoping that I'm not being threatened with any court issues. So everything that I've done, a bathroom, legislation, just because of that, Uranium Commission, scholarship, Katnana, uranium, it's because it's not sauce. Elaine hit the end, didn't give a bunty, the store, Bayat Eho Kodobi Bahti, it's a hand. O a last just he cleared the bansi kaikat. Yego should be Shananish in Seniki the hit out of shuttle zenda. Had it out of Shahwing zenda. A co 8 issues says, Mr. Speaker. Kodo a kitchen and Mishiki Abahos in the year. Benina Kodosha says, as long as I'm here at the table or the desk on the council floor, I will push myself to address every issue
that I think needs to be addressed on behalf of our Navajo people, I will continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kiyomiga. That, moving on down, Honorable Otto So on announcements.
I guess, you were notified, I guess. I don't think it's Adjournment, but I take this as our responsibility to improve it. It's a comment, it's not a threat. And in the council, ako asyan ni adi na bes ani dit ni da na da so ako nde bilaka da shi do bicha ajat khato ni khada. I see this as a sum to better the legislation. And I commend Honorable Crotty that you're going to move forth with this legislation that was withdrawn, but you're going to move forth on it. And what the other thing is that the issue regarding the gaming compact, where the state of Arizona, the Arizona Department of Water Resources, tying the gaming compact to the Arizona water rights, water settlement issues. Speaker, we need to get either a team on there to start looking at this, whether it's through this gaming subcommittee, because the state of Arizona tied the two together. And we have to start strategizing around that. That's one of the important issues of Navajo. And I know with the subcommittee and going down to Phoenix, we with our counterpartners, the Arizona tribes, we know that they're working on finally drafting up the compact. It's been a long road, and I commend the gaming subcommittee for this council and the last council. Took a lot of the discussion to talk and meet with other tribes to come to some sort of an agreement. Commend the compact team for the gaming subcommittee for your attendance and being there at the table. And I know we have another discussion that's coming up, and we're just waiting for when our attorneys will be able to have those documents ready for us for review. The other is the San Juan Southern Paiute issue. We need to move forth and try to meet on our side to try to start strategizing and what we're going to do. And I believe meetings with the committee, Resource and Development Committee, and we have to move forth on that and work it through, because we have more at stake at the end if we don't start moving on this issue. But again, thank you very much. And colleagues, members of the current 24th Navajo Nation Council, the ones that stayed Monday night, commend you guys. Working to the wee hours. And but you lose a lot of time from home. You lose a lot of sleep. So those are commendable and work hard. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, with that, moving on down, Chairman Nez.
Honorable Speaker Damon and 24th Council. My brothers and sisters, I think we need a work session on what the word nabikiyat actually means. Onhilchi ka arabikede and the like what happened here. Nanta. Respectfully, I just signed a piece of paper how many meetings I missed. One, I was at important meetings and conferences, and I missed 2 Nabikiyat committee meetings. I'm not perfect, but I do my best to serve my people and my great Navajo Nation as well as my communities. At Ohani, recently, Shadeja, sidebar, Yahatzi, sidebar conversations. Well, our constituents show up sometimes, they want to talk to us. We get a note saying somebody wants to talk to us, and we walk over there and talk to them. Perhaps we need to have a policy that we walk out with our constituents. Back in the springtime, the same thing that Honorable Newton. Ricky Nez, we don't have to answer to you. We're equal, perhaps we need to have a policy. Hajo, Bansi case. Mr. Speaker, it is your job as well. You need to control the audience as well as the council here. It is your job. It's the reason why we appointed you in that position as well, Shananta. It's bothersome, especially when you're trying to speak. But respectfully, Shananta, Hosh Kanto, Hajo Kebe, Bechafanits and Oshiat, Valentine's Day is coming up, and I just want to say I love you. Thank you.
Well down, Honorable James.
Yeah, Nanas Nale, Adosha Kahasi, Doshnat Aniki. His 1,000 on February 3rd at 10 a.m. titled to Auto Ishkene, Abed Kono Habin was called February 3rd at 10 a.m. Budget and Finance Committee. AA we're going to have our Title II reform meeting. So the Habi Latashnan Anothanigi. At our last work session that we had at Twin Arrows, there was a lot of talking points that were brought up, and our listing got very long. And I think it's very important that my colleagues, Nothanigi, that you put in every effort to at least come to this Title II reform. So our next meeting again is on February 3rd at 10 a.m. at Budget and Finance Conference Room here in Winderup. So God bless each one of you, and God bless the Navajo Nation. Thank you.
Hey, moving on down. Honorable Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Adonana Kodo. The General Jishuni Valentine's Day. Benashni Kodo. Adonan Betina Dash in the Sheet Genova. That was Saint Adonan, his sweetheart, she had not done. Adon, his friend, she had not done.
Hold on, Honorable Daniels. Go ahead, Honorable Daniels.
Khale was just Valentine's Day, okay. Hey, Quakey Dove. Not Hayada. I don't need it. I don't need it. Task Force don't need it for quadrilateral agreement leisure dam Glen Canyon Recreation Area. 50 years is going to be up September. 50 years, 1970, and that agreement, Adalia. I don't know quite get Nabakia task force. I don't need it. I don't need it. Question there was just got September is like tomorrow. I think he could take God. So, I do you about this since I could. I don't know could do should not understand could I see here could have session could winter session here 3 days could that is so. I don't could to Shine, the should not do that could. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Daniels. I will look into that, making sure. Honorable Elmer Begay. Honorable Elmer Begay. Once, twice, 3 times. Put on down, Vice Chair Smith.
Thank you, Speaker, and 24th Council. I don't know why I keep saying Nabgiyat. Yeah, Dave, on the announcements, Speaker, I have a concern and issue that's going on within my community, and it was addressed to the Navajo Nation President, and also I'd like to bring this forth to your attention, Speaker. There is a Perko Valley Fire Department in our area. It serves Lupton, Houck, Sanders, Dudsey, Wide Ruins, and possibly Klagetoh, if Klagetoh is not available. The concern is they're starting to bill folks that are having structure fires or wildland fires. It never used to be that way. And I sit on the Navajo Land Commission. And that's why I was busy talking to the Attorney General on who is our attorney for Navajo Land Commission regarding the impact areas. We're impacted by the relocation too. So how do we address this? How do we amend this? The fire department is funded by the county, and the fire chief is now saying that he will bill regardless of whose structure's on fire, wildland, and now they're at that point, Speaker. So I've got the letter from the president of the Lupton chapter. I'd like to share that with you, and I'd like to also sit down with the president and see how we can address this. Speaker, I need your help on this issue down in my area, because now there's folks are saying, we'll just fight the fire ourselves. We'll just respond to various fires out there, and that's dangerous. Putting people's lives in the harm's way, because you don't know what fire can do, especially structure or wildland fire or anything like that. So the fire department should at least sit down with us and to discuss this. The letter was sent down to District 3 Supervisor in Apache County. And we haven't seen our Apache County Supervisor for the past 2.5 years, maybe even 3 years now. So that's the concern that we have, Shenandoah. I know that there's Navajo Nation Fire Department, but they've been a long time been serving the county through the Perko Valley. The other one is, I'm not sure if we're going to be headed out to DC. I just got word that the appropriations is filled. I already did book my flights and everything like that, and so I don't know how that's going to work out in Shenandoah, because I do pay things out of pocket, and I'm not sure how the airline's going to take that. So, Speaker, yeah, and for the winter session and the business we conducted, and still like to say Happy New Year to everybody, and safe travels home. Shenandoah. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Matt, moving on down. Chairman So, what was yours on announcements?
Thank you. Silly, Speaker Damon, Auto, Chiquedo, Sidene, Kezane, Auto Sas, Tuisazani, Kudo, honorable colleagues. Spring session will be coming at us soon, but in this aspect of the winter session, yes, there's been contentions and good actions, naming the Tenet College student to the Government Development Commission, naming a associate justice to the Supreme Court. So there's been good results of this winter session. I appreciate all the council members to have participated. My announcement is that, you know, there was an email that went out from Doty about contracting BIE through a 93-638 Indian self-determination contract. And there was a flood of emails from colleagues. And from there, you know, some of the items is that there's a new designee on an interim superintendent. We have a full Navajo Nation Board of Education, and Doty has basically scheduled a work session with the new board members, as well as have invited the Bosba School Board Association to attend a work session regarding these proposals, the aspects of creating a state education agency. This will occur on a Sunday, February 16th and February 17th, after my Che Herman Daniels sends me a Be Mine Valentine's card. My Che, I'd like to then yield this remaining time, 2:27, to Che Herman Daniels.
Honorable Herman Daniels, 2 minutes, 22
Conflict
seconds.
of interest on that one. Thank you, colleagues. Former Navajo Nation Council delegate. He served on the council for 4 terms, 4 or 5 terms. Mr. Willie Gray Eyes, Adonana. At the present time, he is the San Juan County Commissioner in Utah. So he's sitting right behind me. He's a brother. Thank you, my brother, for coming over. Yeah, at 1 o'clock we have a meeting with the president regarding the Navajo Mountain to Ojeto Road. Thank you, Speaker.
That, moving on down, Honorable Eugene So, floor is yours on the announcements.
The National Justice case underrated need to look into or ask for a legal opinion. I know what it means, but what is the sidebar? I think now you all know the intention of the Navajo Nation Council delegates, that we all are 100% equal. As oversight, we hesitate to take the lead role in another oversight for our people besides our own oversight. Some legislations, we're not aware of as a whole. And chairs and vice chairs has more authority within these oversights. And we seem, now we seem, I don't get me wrong, seems, that we got 4 gains in Navajo Nation Council, not Hija. Besides other task force, subcommittees, etc. And we need to listen to all division as a whole. Hear one plan of the division enterprise entities. So I was elected by the people. I need to have their voice heard in each division, enterprise, and entities. I feel that sometimes people, council delegate talking over there with their own oversight. And sometimes you can't even get them there. And I want to talk for my people, and I want to be heard from every division. Even Yesha is an otherwise, I'm in my preacher, that's all that preacher oath. Yadishni, Kadeya, as an oversight, I have a limitation. I'm limited. I don't want to be limited because my people have voted for me to speak in each division. And I would like you to when it comes to the floor. Because I think every one of us in here, council delegate, needs to hear the division equally and as a whole, so we can plan and to get things done for the people. Otherwise, don't hit equal. That oversight that they know, the work session that they know. Some work session we don't hear. With other oversight committees. The Nebanon Hasha Shahada and the little soy about this case. So here, because when my people ask me, sometimes I don't know. But that's what they're doing. This is what they're doing now. And if you have a big committee, I got over 4,000 voters in my chapter. Even I'm pretty sure some other big, like Mr. So here, the chapter than Ska. And I got almost everything in there in my where I am at. I got schools, I got elementaries, I got head stores, I got hospitals, I got senior citizens, I got a lot of stuff in there, and I need to speak for those people. This case, that's what I'm seeing. We need to get back together and listen as a whole to all the division. This case, I don't hear again.
Okay. So you know, Eugene, so that moving on down, onward begin.
Okay, Speaker, I don't know.
I called for you and then you weren't here, so now you're back on. So that's why you
All right.
that's why you're back.
Again, Speaker, I don't have any response. And all the staff and the people that are here, I don't get it. It's been a year being here. Thinking back, that we got speaker in place in all the subcommittees, and then the standing committees that we put in places. So to work on issues that is facing the Navajo Nation. Since we got a this is what you guys are facing, the nation is facing. All these issues, like for example, that mostly every day, every week, they're going, they're passing. The elderly and then what happened to almost to our government too. That if you have a home, a person comes into your home and says something to you, to threaten you, that's almost like shade or because just a person coming into your home and say this to you, to threaten you, that you're not doing something that was no that today, that's how I feel today. Being threatened like that from executive branch. I know there's prayers and stuff, but these things are attitudes. These are just only attitudes. It's not the prayers, it's not the songs. These are just attitudes that how it's being applied to us. So even now, to correct that, I guess we can do some letter saying that, that there's a separation of powers. To balance, you have to know that, to have that mutual respect for others, even to go into a home. To somebody's home. That's the way I think about this. I don't know that I had the energy policy to be renewed or amended or rescind. Nothing. Because those brothers died, that's how I felt. It's gone now. So, but we're looking into others again. How should I apply someone? So in this case, just today, like I said, the 18th is kind of they have a new moon, which is something yaj yilkan. Jokin at Sunday is she become Adjournment Hijon Van to a case chin. He don't have the Shantan, he don't your case, son of the Handy, John Noba and then lately come. Maybe you should hold the side, maybe you should take about this. I was talking to one of my elderly this evening, yesterday when I went home, and I just called him and then phone, he's talking with him, and he wants on that. He's talking about that. It's probably one of those high-tech phones that you're using, but mine is just not he's talking to me about it, but this is why he shared it with me. I wanted to talk to somebody, and that's why she shared it with me today with this month. I don't, when you lose somebody, they say that this month in dilatation, you can feel that, you can see that, you can hear it, it's going to come into your mind, it's going to come into your dream. So it can come into your mind, it can come into your dream.
Okay. That will go down. Thank you, Honorable Brigade. Honorable Yellow Hair, on announcements.
Speaker named 24 councilmen, classes 20. Winter sessions for our first year. I want to say, that shouldn't just Jimbagaripa, Shan Sozon, Shinatani, Koroba Hens, Kujan, Italia, Oro, Nanjota, Delia, Coco, Shidea, Jilibagaje, or you Hiloshnelada. Now it road construction, roads improvement, mud, dirt road, some needs to be paved. Twenty-four councilmen. I wish you bless this road for me to complete roads 8066 and 8031, and other roads needs to be improved in 41 Forest Lake area. It has to be Chicago to the judicial complex opinions that should be forthcoming to. I ask for your great legitimate approval for me, for the people out there needs help. Judicial because this Chief Associate Justice Kitadigni, Hotata, Sayaba Hinson, Arogina, Nipenda Nan, Iranian. It's been chain out, the last cases, Donaso Araya instant as a Akadis to the Armakill. That's where you're working. You did a wonderful job, you took your time, as your bananas. Shua Hinson, or the seizures and title Kanachai, whatever the chain that the arts in there. They're going to buy a tea. Thank you very much. I should say, Mr. Daniel, so thank you for that. Yeah. I don't know, the budget impact is coming up with us 2021. I'd like to ask the we're going to have to bring forth the executive director to receive all those reports, 638 project, any federal funds that's impact to our 2021 budget. They don't need budget off. We don't want to move this money forward. Out on the Navajo Housing Authority, money has been returned back to federal. Us as 24 councilmen, he's also been dealing, so basically not on dealing as a 24 councilman. It's also your by hints and all your Hajin slow edition, called now content. I don't know as the New Year 2020, called yon the dealers not on. I desire a Banos County, though he not let all Kodanski and Sengi Yahagi. I'd like to say thanks to Mr. Willie Gray Eyes as my Judiciary Committee chairperson. Thank you for your great help, and you left a very great legacy for judicial operation. Although the black president I don't hear it all. Also, you just sit on all your now take all that. I don't know, because you have to know a Kudo, the never extended through a HPL 50 years ago, and it's even worse. The back 10 ship unit. I could have been not of Dortney. Edo, Nita, notice, I already see, hopefully, I'll finish this today and process this through a legislation to increase 10 to 50 sheep unit. It would about a street or he never yet. What are they about? Thank you for question. No, any should not any so. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Yeller, for those words. Let me go ahead and go on down on announcements. Chairman Hingham, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Select Speaker Damon. Adjournment, I see Tkonigi and the home. The Tkonigi, by Kehelenko. I just want to say thank you to Speaker Damon for presiding over our winter session. And we did have some ups and downs, but it was good. My so I just want to say thank you. I just want to recognize also a former delegate, Education Committee Chairperson, Boss Mr. Leonard Chi. He's been with us for the past several days. I just wanted to recognize him. At the same time, my three chapters too, Rema, Alamo, and Tohachile. Digi. I just want to say hello to them again this afternoon, and then thank you for allowing me to be your council delegate and serve you for the 4 years that you put me in place. So, I just wanted to say that. For announcements, short and sweet, and
That, moving on down. Honorable Brown, you spoke already. You're on reserve time. Madam Chair Charles Liu too as well, so I'm going to new players first. Oh, actually, Honorable Brown, you don't have reserve time. Vice Chair Walker.
Speaker Doe, members of the council, just to also recognize and appreciate the leaders in the House, and those, especially those that have served on the council. My brothers are here. You know, Davis Cooper, Utah Dean, and Wallace Charlie, Shipra Dean, Leonard Chi, Luke Dean, George Arthur, New Mexico, Nina, San Juan area, Adin, Nanta, really great eyes, so I believe these individuals possess, institutional knowledge and wisdom worth quite a bit. On the 24th Navajo Nation Council, my esteemed colleagues, your leadership, your advocacy, all that is all remarkable. It's all awesome. Those words, those thoughts are not wasted. They are not without meaning. They carry a message. It's all about taking care of our people, taking care of our great nation, with the utmost respect and responsibility. Again, Mr. Speaker, for your leadership. Thank you. God bless Navajo Nation.
Moving on down. Anybody else on the board? We'll go back to reserve time. Madam Chair, Charles Newman, 4 minutes and 8 seconds.
Thank you, Speaker. So, Speaker, I have two requests for this upcoming month. One is I would like to respectfully request that we have a veterans work session. As you know, there was a walk that was scheduled this morning, but it was canceled. I think that the last time we had a veterans work session, I believe King was still the director. We have a new director. I'd like to ask questions in regards to where he sees the veterans issues going and how he plans to address them. My second request is that we also have an INTEC update or a report from INTEC. I heard that their office moved off-res to Denver, and I've also been hearing some other things that have brought concern to me, so I think we need to bring them before us again to get an update about what's going on, especially since I've been reading the newspapers out in Montana and Wyoming, and I'm not sure if they've secured their bonds already, and what does that mean for the nation. So if we could work that in somehow, I would like, again, I respectfully ask this, that we have something maybe at the next NABI or the NABI after that, but within the next month. Thank you, Speaker. I reserve my time.
Every time in 2 minutes, 42 seconds. Thank you. I note that down, Madam Chair, Charles Newman. Moving on down. Earl Freeland, 3 minutes, 51 seconds.
Thank you, Speaker Notah. First of all, I want to say go San Francisco 49ers. This weekend, the Super Bowl. Yeah, good. Everyone's 49ers fans, huh? How do go Ricky Fowler in the Phoenix Open? So we're going to cheer on our own Navajos. I wanted to introduce a couple of visitors from the Great Eastern Navajo Agency, the Root Chapter, home of the Hawks. Chapter President Anita Benali, she also serves as our Eastern Agency Vice President. Hey, yeah, she's on the southeast corner, sitting by the window. Somebody was waving to me, like, hey, lad, good morning. Out with her is Ms. Carol Chavez, who is the Root Chapter Club C Vice President. Hey, good morning to you, ladies. Thank you for being here. I forgot to mention, tomorrow is also the Gallup-McKinley County Day at the New Mexico State Legislature in Santa Fe. Many of our chapters will be there tomorrow. It's a day representing the county, and it's also Gallup, but we're just gonna go for the county portion. But it's McKinley County, Gallup-McKinley County Day tomorrow in Santa Fe. So many of our chapters will be there as well. Shanata, I also want to give you a heads up. In early March, I'm planning or been in discussions with the New Mexico Children, Youth, and Families Department. And they're bringing out the National Annie E. Casey Foundation. And they want to meet with the Navajo Nation on issues pertaining to juvenile justice and issues related to the juvenile alternatives incarceration program that they have. I'm glad the Attorney General's here. I did mention this to Chief Justice last night, but LOC and HES especially, I'll give you a heads up on those discussions. And New Mexico CYFD is very enthused about these discussions with the Navajo Nation and the National Annie E. Casey Foundation. So we're looking at Friday, March 6th as a potential target date for this meeting to occur in Albuquerque. So I'm giving the Attorney General a heads up way ahead of time. So what we want to do is sit down and talk about, have an introductory kind of meeting and discuss potential steps forward. The executive branch will also be involved, public safety, maybe Division of Social Services, as well as the President's Office too. We'll go ahead and include them as well. So something to look forward to. I really am enthused about this effort and this discussion surrounding juvenile justice and how we can bring that attention forth to here on the Navajo Nation. Also, Speaker and your staff, first of all, I want to say thank you to the staff as well. I think all of us should say thank you to the staff, especially those that stayed Monday night. Thank you, staff, for your hard work, your dedication in assisting us as delegates. We appreciate your patience, we appreciate your dedication, and really say thank you wholeheartedly for what you do for us or how you assist us. And also, Speaker, thank you too. Thank you for yesterday in helping us feed our seniors from Lake Valley and White Rock. They were so happy to sit in your conference room and watch this discussion on that big smart TV that was hooked up for them. So they really made themselves at home. So thank you very much, Speaker, and to your staff for helping us with our seniors from Lake Valley and White Rock. I want to give a big shout out to my chapters, Crown Point Eagles, Nadashkirtse, Ahai Vicente, Lake Valley, White Rock, Herfano, and Naizi. Thank you.
Okay. That declares. Honorable Charlie Zoe. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Shajah, Speaker Damon. I wanted to say first and foremost, thank you, Shajah, for all that you have done for my 5 chapters. I know that this year it wasn't quite a good start for some of my constituents, and then how you helped me honor Tom Chi and his family. And I also want to say thank you to each and every one of the staff here. I know that sometimes you probably want to walk out that door and say, I don't want to be here anymore because of those council delegates. They eat too much, and I'm just kidding. But I truly love you guys. Thank you. I pray for each and every one of you. And I'm talking about Mark. I'm just kidding. And then I need to say this because Mark has always given me a hard time, so I'm going to say go KC. And then I just want to express, I know that some viewers are watching right now live stream. To our children that are in school, to our children that are facing a lot of challenges now, being bullied, we have some being abducted, we have women and children, families that are mourning for their loss of their loved ones. Know that you are in my prayers every day, and I will continue to pray for our great nation. And look out for one another, please. Look out for our students, our children, our elders. Check on them if you have to. Chop woods if you have to. Please love and respect one another. And respectfully, I would like to end on that note and yield the rest of my time to Honorable Yellowhair. Thank you.
That, Honorable Yellowhair, 3 minutes, 19 seconds. Good?
Shemayaja Honorable, so thank you very much. She did also a person Navajo Shishna Hospital Hebert Daisy, President for Summit Construction. Shabeda to think just achieve a lot of Hashi's. The non Sudat Aggie banana ship energy as heavy equipment earth work construction items, gravel and bar pit, earth dams, road building, reclamations, excavations, and demolition. Arsenal, so yeah, a better thought. I don't know that just a gym was that, so yeah, kitty, could open up his business with a gravel pit through a DOT and BRA, oil, $1,000. So, yeah, now, thank you very much.
Okay, with that, moving on down, Honorable Stewart, new player. On announcements.
Thank you to Auto colleagues in Lafinigi, guests in the gallery still, and those on World Wide Web. Speaker and colleagues, I got an email on the coronavirus and news bulletin as to what precautions to look for, how to be more aware of it. So I went ahead and forwarded that to all your emails, so if you can share that with your chapters and your constituents, community members, and family and friends. And this is from one of my cousins down in Maricopa County that sent it out from there, from her work. So just forwarding that to you. That was my only announcement on that one. Again, thank you, colleagues and staff, speaker, office president, vice president, for your time and dedication to the Navajo Nation government, and Chief Justice Joanne Jane for her presence here, and also the Department of Justice for also being here as well for the past 3 days, and all the other staff involved, including Mr. Martinez from Ethics and Rules for being here with us 3 days, or Mr. Morris rather, and then also our Sergeant of Arms as well, Police Department for being here 3 days for us, with us as well, and then also our guests in the gallery that came near and far, despite the weather. They came to see what we do during our sessions, and this is one of 4 sessions that we have during the year, throughout the year, and let's continue to do our best that we can for our communities, our people, and our relatives. So, thank you.
Okay. Madam Chair, Crotty, back to reserve time, 1 minute, 38 seconds.
Thank you, Speaker and colleagues. I appreciate all of the things that are being raised. One area that I want to raise, Speaker, is going back to the regulations and standards of conduct for elected officials of the Navajo Nation. If we could, and your staff, look and see if at this council or this, when's the last time legislative branch got received training for sexual harassment training? I think there needs to be a refresher. And I'm also looking in terms of, I'll ask our legislative council to help me understand what it means for Section 6 when it says elected officials shall not engage in any activity which would be an abuse of official position or a violation of trust. I'd like to get a little bit of clarification or an example of what that means, Speaker. I want to make sure that we're not creating a hostile work environment here for our staff who work hard and are dedicated. And I know at times it can be challenging, but we should try to make this the best working environment on Navajo Nation. And we should be setting the stage where staffers feel safe to come and work here. And I believe that we could do that by training, trauma-informed care, learning how we normalize overt sexualization on the nation so that everybody feels safe and that there's not any inappropriate behavior.
Okay. Just on that note, Madam Chair Friday, the first one is there's going to be a mandatory ethics training on February 13th. We're still working together to try to get a sexual harassment Sexual harassment prevention training. And that will be, we're working together with not only the Navajo Nation Training Office, but also working together with certain entities, Navajo Department of Behavioral Health and our local hospital. So we're still trying to schedule that one.
But ethics is on the 13th?
Yes.
At what time?
9? 9 a.m. before Nabi. That is mandatory. Okay, with that, moving on, Madam Chair, Charles Dugan. 2 minutes and 52 seconds.
Speaker, I just want to recognize the Shiprock community who is watching. I've been getting a lot of text messages about what's going on here in council, so it's good that we have community members from Shiprock who are watching at this time. The Blue Eyes who are currently watching and keeping me abreast of what they've been seeing and comments that have been made. And then also in the galley, although we've already recognized him, but my brother, Wallace Charlie, who is sitting here in the gallery, I just want to recognize him at this time. He is a good leader in the community who has done a lot. And although I tease him all the time, although he was on Burnley's campaign team, Burnley was who ran against me, I still have a lot of respect for him, and I tease Vern and him all the time because we're really good friends. But to my brother, Wallace, I appreciate everything that you do and for the leadership that you continue to show us in the Shiprock community. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time, Speaker.
Okay. Anybody else on the board, colleagues, for the 24th Navajo Nation Council? There's an announcement. Yes, on Kelby. Can I say something first? Jay? No? Can I say something first, Jay? Okay. Colleagues of the 24th Navajo Nation Council, I just want to sincerely send my deepest and most humble gratitude in being your speaker for this last year. I thank you for putting me in this position, and I know that there's been some ups and downs with some of my colleagues, but we've gone over those and we had our trials and tribulations. And I hope to know that I have earned each and one of your trust to move forth with everything that we have here. As you know, everyone that has met with me in the past year, you know I have your back, you know I can fight for you, you know I will work with you and put my own personal needs aside. There are some things that I have fought for in the last 5 years that I am fighting against right now because I believe in each and every one of you. Right now we have a moment in our time in this history to make sure that we can bend that arc and move our priorities forward for our people. Whether that be at Resource and Development Committee and creating a new energy policy and creating a new infrastructure road policy and creating new technology services for our people. With Health, Education, and Human Services Committee and gaining and garnering and securing more responsible educators and making sure that our health needs are the #1 priority for our elders. To our individuals at the Budget and Finance Committee, please do not make sure, please note that the President is not a legislator. He's the one that needs to make sure that if he's going to sit down on Budget and Finance Committee, it's Budget and Finance Committee that's going to drive the Permanent Trust Fund 5-year plan and making sure that you guys are responsible and bringing that back to the Navajo Nation Council. With our endeavoring process of what we've done in this last year, I want to thank the Law and Order Committee for your dedication and your leadership, Madam Chair Charles Newton and Honorable Otto So, and making sure that public policy and public safety is a priority again across this nation. And I know that our transportation stimulus package is going to be coming forward. I think the staff for putting that together. I thank you, colleagues, sitting down with each and every one of the staff members. We have a new position statement for Chaco. We have a new position statement for energy. We have a new position statement for VAWA and for murder and missing Dene relatives. We've taken these initiatives to the White House, and we will continue monitoring those initiatives. I thank Resource and Development Committee, I thank Law and Order Committee for being there in Washington, D.C. and advocating on portions of those responsibles. I know that Health, Education, Human Services Committee and Budget and Finance Committee are going over here in a couple of months to D.C. to press those and leverage a lot of those initiatives, but most importantly, making sure the funding allocations are coming back to the state of Arizona and the state of New Mexico, the state of Utah, and the state of Colorado. Those initiatives are coming back with impact aid, knowing that the roads, that the dollars are being secure. Senior center funds are coming back. The state's recognizing us as not only as our sovereigns, but making sure that we know that we can possibly move forward together. I take your responsible entities that you have, not only chairman, as a guardian of this house, and trying to make sure that there's no sidebar conversations, but I take this position in knowing that we as the administration that I put together, that I really want you to know that each and every one of you, if you have some kind of initiative or problem, please come and talk to me. I can help you, we can help you, and we can make sure that we can move forward together, not only as a 24th Council, but as a family unit, and making sure that we have that responsibility for us moving forward. So I thank you, everyone here. Again, I thank you for allowing me to be in this leadership capacity in this last year. And I know that 2020 is going to be an awesome year for the council, for our people, but most importantly, for this country that we know, that we all love and enjoy. So thank you again to the staff. You're awesome. Thank you to the administration, wherever you are out there, all the workers in the executive branch. If you're watching too as well, thank you for working together with us. Thank you for making sure that you are the front line. To the chapters, you are out there and you're out there to help our people. We as a 24th Council have your back, and we will make sure to fund you, secure you, and know that you are the individuals that are on our front line helping our people out every single day. So with that, colleagues, I really say thank you, and thank you to representing us and on this 24th Council, but most importantly, thank you to the people who have elected us in this position, and you all have a great rest of the week, great rest of the month, and a great new year. Motion adjourned by Honorable Chief Gay, second by Honorable Vice Chair Smith at 1:14 p.m. Honor privilege. Go to board. Raymond Smith.
Okay.
Honorable Brigade, Honorable Walker, Honorable Monica, Honorable Stewart, Honorable Yazzie. Safe travels, my colleagues. I know some of you are leaving in New Mexico now. I know some of you are leaving to Phoenix. I know some of you are traveling elsewhere. Safe travels on your endeavors this week. Yes. Honorable Monica. Yazzie, going once, going twice, going 3 times, locked down.
19-0.
19 in favor, 0 opposed. Winter session is now adjourned at 1:16 p.m. Woo! Colleagues, I don't know if there's a chair. Ronnie, if you still want to have them.